I'm afraid of my notebook. It's green and has pretty leaves and shimmery thick pages. It's very beautiful, but absolutely nothing is written inside of it. Yet. Also, why did this journal quadruple in price? I paid $6 for it. I know the economy is bad, but damn. Anyway, I know someone has a special notebook, or books too. If you've ever bought something adorable and pretty and then immediately became too scared to actually use it, welcome to the freaking club. You have shiny object syndrome, or something of the sort. Precious or special item syndrome, I don't know. There's fancy terminology for everything these days. I'll literally hoard a notebook, books plural, for years because I'm waiting for the perfect story or the perfect version of my handwriting to magically drop into the palm of my hands in order for me to actually use the notebook. But essentially, we buy all this beautiful stationery only for our lives to become, well, stationary. We're literally stuck on the same page. If you're like me, have you ever stopped to wonder, what exactly are we waiting for? I think a rotating question to think about throughout this video is, when will I be worthy? Or when will my story and ideas be worth enough for this notebook? It turns out our brains are playing a very specific trick on us. In pop psychology, they call it shiny object syndrome. And in our case, it can be fueled by two things: perfectionism, which you may or may not be familiar with, and loss aversion. Perfectionism tells us that if we can't use the item perfectly, we shouldn't use it at all. The moment we put pen to that first page, the infinite potential of the notebook dies. It's no longer a masterpiece in waiting. It's just a book with messy scribbles of ideas or brain dumps you might have. It doesn't feel like that special idea worthy of this beautiful notebook. Then there's loss aversion. Our brains are hardwired to feel the pain of losing something twice as strongly as the joy of gaining something. I own a bunch of stickers, even some from 2020. Now, to my pudding brain, using that sticker isn't decorating or fun. Once it's gone, it's gone. Bye-bye sticker. With loss aversion, it can feel like you're depleting a limited resource. Using the thing feels like you're losing it forever. I'll never be able to get it again, so you keep it in a drawer to keep it safe. For that one special occasion this sticker will finally get to see the light of day. I don't know. There's a reason to feel so very personal. There's this part of our brain called the medial prefrontal cortex. This one. It's the area of the brain we use when we're thinking about our own personality or our sense of self. But researchers have found that this exact same area lights up when we look at the things we own as well. To our brains, there is no line where I end and my stuff begins. Our possessions literally become an extension of the self. We'll talk more about this point later, but it's an interesting thing to think about, our objects being tied to our sense of identity. I've been thinking a lot lately about how if we're constantly saving our best stuff for later, when exactly are we making things happen? We treat our lives like a dress rehearsal. We'll wear the nice dress when we're 10 pounds lighter. We'll use the fancy perfume when we have a partner to smell it. We'll start the journal when our life finally feels aesthetic enough to document something about it. We're waiting for a version of ourselves that doesn't even exist yet, to use the things we already have. We're often not saving the item for later. We're saving a fantasy of who we'll be when we finally get to use it. When we tell ourselves, I'll wear the damn dress when I'm thinner, this is a lie called the arrival fallacy. It's the belief that once we reach a certain goal or destination, we'll finally be happy. The problem is, the destination keeps moving. I was reading the Mind and Me study, and the researchers found that our brains prioritize the objects we own, treating them like a part of our identity. But here's another interesting point. Other research shows that materialism actually peaks when our self-esteem is at its lowest. So we aren't just saving the item for later, we're really using it as a crutch for that version of ourselves we haven't met yet. But if you don't feel worthy of the good stuff today, you won't feel worthy 10 pounds from now either. Here is the irony. By trying to save things, we often end up destroying them. Sticker adhesive dries up and turns to dust. Useless. I have rolls of washi tape from 2020 and boy, are they dried up. Markers dry out, although I think you can finesse pens to work if you do some DIY trick, but The markers, they did. Perfume actually goes rancid, and eventually that fancy dress goes out of style before it even leaves your closet, because your taste can change from when you're 20 to 60. In our efforts to prevent the loss of something, we've guaranteed it'll happen. We've traded a memory for a corpse of an experience. Thinking about it now, you may or may not get that chance back. By waiting for a better version of ourselves to be worthy of our own stuff, we're actually losing the one thing we can't buy more of: time. That energy burst you have to create, it's happening now. Why not take the chance on the current version of you? Well, probably many reasons, but something to keep in mind. There's a thin line between collecting and hoarding. Collectors are usually proud and want to show off their curations. That's why you see the pristine displays of Marvel action figures or people's collections of vinyl records. But when we stockpile purses or notebooks for one day that never comes, it turns a small collection into a secret-filled hoard house because we feel an exaggerated sense of responsibility for our items. It's not easy for hoarders. Their stuff is precious to them. It feels really good to acquire things. Like, we get a good dose of dopamine and other feel-good chemicals every time we get something that we view as precious. You can actually see this effect much more dramatically in the brains of people with hoarding disorder. There's a study done by Tolan and colleagues where they put individuals with hoarding disorder into an fMRI machine. And the moment they were shown their own belongings, even something as useless as an old piece of junk mail, certain regions of the brain suddenly lit up. Boiled, if you will. These areas, the anterior cingulate cortex and the insula, are parts of the brain that process emotional pain, risk, and personal value. The scan showed greater activity when hoarders thought about their own objects compared to objects that belonged to someone else. And it feels good. Oh, so good. We feel like we're the guardians of these objects, but really, we're just their captors. People can also get stuck in a scarcity mindset, meaning we're afraid that if we use the best thing, we'll never really find something that good ever again. But look at your drawer or that storage bin or wherever you're stuffing those items or dreams. You might have 20 lip balms, 6 unused journals, or 14 pairs of shoes. The world is overflowing with all these pretty things. We become like Ariel from The Little Mermaid, stashing away gadgets and gizmos aplenty in our secret little caves. But even she realized that looking at a collection of 20 thingamabobs isn't the same as actually being where the people are. Your notebook isn't for display, it's meant to be used. The point I'm trying to get towards is that things are abundant and something will always be there and be new, but it may turn to obsession if you're not careful. But for me personally, it's the spark that I have in the moment that gives me pause. Because when you think about it, time and energy are the real scarce resources. I'm making this video because I hope it can reach others so that you too don't let the object outlast your inspiration. You are the moment. So what can we do to break out of this loop? You can do a few things. You can take the first step by practicing using the things you already have before getting new ones. In the great battle for your attention, why not use those notebooks and jot down those ideas? Use up the stickers for cute shit. Do the things you want to now so that you can be happier now in the present, not later. Contrary to how you might feel, your stuff doesn't want to be perfect. It wants to be part of your life. Isn't that a wonderful thought? So this is your permission slip. Use the damn notebook, scribble in it, spill coffee on it. Don't actually do that, but if it happens, that's life. Wear the damn dress to the grocery store or wherever. Use the damn sticker on a water bottle that you might lose next month. It doesn't matter. Because what's important isn't the object or the thing staying pristine. The value is in the object being a part of your story, your journey, and your experience in life. Your stuff isn't meant to be a trophy in a glass case, Unless it is a trophy and it's meant for a glass case. You know what I mean? Display and all that. You use your noggin. Things usually have a use. It wants to be a curious part of evidence of a life actually lived. Living the experiences you make along the way, not just some piece of pretty blank book you may or may not use. Here's a little challenge for you. I want you to go to that junk drawer or closet or wherever right now. Pick one thing, the best sticker, the expensive perfume, or the dress, and use it today. Not for a date or for when your story is perfect, but for today. Which for me, as I'm writing this, is Sunday. So for a random Sunday, do the thing or use the thing. I think another part of this challenge you can do is to have empathy for yourself. At the end of the day, the stuff and ideas, they're all there in its place and they are true to you. What you do with them and how you live your life is important. If you feel you're content with how it is, that's fine. But if you're like me and you want to not stockpile your ideas and goals for another time, then I encourage you to grab that notebook and write something in it. At least one sentence, one page, or 5 minutes. Something that builds the habit of you doing and creating. I think you'll feel better knowing that you tried and gave it a shot and that your ideas can be something to you. It's not a phenomenon that everyone needs to view unless you have something that needs to be viewed that way. Anyway, you know what I mean. You do you. When I look at my stack of notebooks, I see the potential of my ideas floating around, but I haven't taken the chance on myself to write in a single one of them. Is it the perfectionistic mindset, or is it the fear of getting started, or the permission to be a beginner? I don't know, maybe it's all three, woo! But I'm going to start living for me and using what I have to start. I don't want the time to keep passing me by and wonder, what if I had done this 10 years ago? Which is kind of what I've been thinking about a lot recently, so there really is no time like the present to start. Do it messy and have fun. That's really important too. If you're enjoying the things in your life, then hopefully you're not feeling dread and sadness at the loss of it. We really need some more joy in our lives these days. So don't deny yourself the opportunity. Let me know what your junk drawer item is and make sure you use the damn thing. Okay, like and subscribe for more curious videos. Stay sweet and stay curious. Bye!